Hands-on learning story time with Miss Veronica.
Hello friends, it's Miss Veronica. We're going to read a story today for story time, and we're going to do a small craft. We're going to make these great little chenille spiders. Oops, that guy fell down. We're going to use clay and 4 chenille stems and googly eyes or buttons or little puff balls or anything you have to make eyes. All right, so let's get started.
Cobweb Capers, written by Dr. J.E. McGee and illustrated by Marissa Lewis. The spider that came in from the cold. 5 friendly spiders lived in Mr. Lee's garden shed. It was a very spider-friendly shed because it was full of cobwebs and very untidy because Mr. Lee was too busy to tidy his shed. "Brr, it's cold outside," said Mately. It was getting dark and icicles were starting to form on the windows. Mately, the sensible spider, looked around the shed and could see just 2 other spiders, Orson and Mirabel. Orson, the poetic spider, who only spoke in rhyme, was reading his favorite book, 7 Secret Spiders. Mirabel, the creative spider, was folding a flea and fly wrap for supper. Her webs had the most wonderful patterns which attracted a large number of insects, which she used for her very tasty insect cakes. With only 3 spiders in the shed, this meant that 2 spiders were out in the cold, Angelica, who liked to be called AJ, and Clay. It was getting later and colder. Marley looked out of the window to see if he could see his missing friends. AJ, the sporty spider, could run faster than most of the male spiders in the area. Clay, the naughty spider, liked to build webs in dangerous places. He also liked to play tricks on the other spiders. A gentle pitter-patter of rain sounded on the roof of the shed. Spiders don't like rain. Suddenly, AJ ran into the shed like an Olympic athlete. She cried, "Maximilian, the cat is trying to catch Clay. We must help Clay at once." Her voice was trembling and she was shaking. Maximilian, a large, fluffy, and orange and white cat, lived next door with Miss Kelly. He liked to chase and gobble up spiders. Clay had been teasing Maximilian, shouting, "Come and get me!" Maximilian was not a friendly cat. He was getting very, very angry with Clay. "Don't worry," said Marley. "We need to stay calm and work out a rescue plan." "But it's raining," said Mirabel. "We can't go out in the rain. We will be washed away." "But we have to do something," said Marley. "We can't just leave Clay, as Maximilian will catch him." "If he catches him, he will eat him," said Mirabel. "What are we going to do?" "I am brave enough to go out in the rain," said AJ. "I can spin a long rescue ladder from the shed to the wall, and Clay can use it to escape."
AJ, it is a great idea, but it will take too long to spin a ladder," said Marley. "We must act quickly." Suddenly, Orson announced a rescue plan. "I have an idea, and that is that Winifred the Hedgehog will save Clay from the cat. Let's call on Winifred. She'll curl into a ball to distract Maximilian, which will be a relief to us all. Isn't it a brilliant idea? I hope I've made myself really clear." The spiders were all excited about Orson's rescue plan. The spiders needed to find Winifred, but time was running out and it was still raining and Maximilian was still trying to catch Clay. Orson continued, "I know it's irritating that Winifred is hibernating. We should search high and low and rescue Clay before the cold wind starts to blow. If we delay, he will be washed away." AJ ran around the shed looking for Winifred.
"Marley, you look in the left corner of the shed, and I will look to the right," said AJ. Orson made a request. "Mirabel, please make something really yummy, as Clay will have an empty tummy." Mirabel decided to make Clay's favorite cake, a chocolate bug cake. Marley ran over to the left corner of the shed. There were a few empty plant pots and a tin of yellow paint with yellow streaks of paint running down the side, a shovel, tin cans, jam jars, and an old striped chair. Marley looked under the deck chair to see if he could find Winifred. "Winifred, where are you?" shouted AJ as loud as she could.
She wanted to be the first one to find her. AJ was very competitive. "I've found Winifred," announced Marley. "I knew she would be there." "Under the deck chair," said Orson. "Winifred, wake up!" shouted Marley. Winifred did not wake up. She was still sound asleep. "Let us shout as loud as we can to wake Winifred," cried AJ. All the spiders shouted, "Winifred!" as loud as they could. Winifred did not wake up. She was still sound asleep. Orson had another idea. "The smell of gingerbread will wake Winifred from her bed," said Orson. Mirabel searched the web for one of her gingerbread moth cakes and waved it under Winifred's nose. Winifred's nose started to twitch and her eyes began to open.
Winifred rubbed her eyes. "Hello, everyone. Is it spring yet?" "No, it isn't spring," said Marley, "but we need you to spring into action to help Clay." "I will help Clay," said Winifred, "because he is my friend. You all are." "My friend Winifred, there is no time to lose, so put on your running shoes," said Orange. AJ explained the rescue plan to Winifred, who wasted no time. She scurried out of the shed, and then she saw Maximilian. His large green eyes were fixed on Clay, and his claws were out ready to pounce. Maximilian had really sharp claws. Clay was dangling from his web. Two of his legs hung on to the freezing web for dear life. His 6 other legs wriggled as he tried to grip the wet wall while the wind blew. He looked like a dancing spider. "Help!" yelled Clay. Maximilian was fascinated by Clay's spider dance. He was just about to pounce when Winifred rustled past, making a snuffling sound. "What's that going snuffle, snuffle, snuffle?" he wondered.
He saw Winifred's prickly shape, which moved slowly and surely toward him. "This should be fun," said Maximilian. "This looks like a giant mouse." Maximilian liked to chase mice. Maximilian crept over to Winifred, who stood very, very still, like a statue. Maximilian's paw reached out to touch the strange creature, which shuffled. He decided he would like to play, but Winifred was keen to get back to sleep, so she slowly curled into a ball. He decided to take a closer look and put his nose up really close. "It looks like a mouse with a very thick coat on," he thought. He went even closer. His whiskers twitched as he sniffed out this creature. "Ouch!" he cried. "This ball-shaped thing is prickly and not very nice at all." He realized that it's not a large mouse, but a hedgehog. While Max was not looking, Clay ran as fast as his 8 legs would carry him into the safety of the shed. He shouted to Maximilian, "We fooled you!"
Maximilian did not like being fooled or getting his nose prickled, so his large, orange, furry shape and sore nose disappeared through the cat flap in Miss Kelly's door. Winifred uncurled herself and snuffled back to the warmth of the shed. "Phew! That was a close shave. Thanks, Winifred," said Clay. "Clay, you must be more careful. We were all really worried about you," said A. "Can I go back to sleep now?" asked Winifred. "Thanks, Winifred," shouted the 5 spiders. Mirabel came down from her web and gave Winifred a gingerbread moth and Clay a chocolate bug cake. "Thanks, Mirabel," said Clay. "This looks yummy. My favorite cake. Thanks, everyone, for helping me." Orson had the final word. "Now, Clay, my dear friend, we know you are bold, but please remember what you are told, and don't stay out so long in the cold. We called on Winifred, she saved the day, fooled Maximilian, and rescued Clay. 3 cheers for Winifred. Hip, hip, hooray!" The materials needed for this craft are 4 chenille stems, also called pipe cleaners, 1 golf ball-sized piece of clay, and 2 beads or googly eyes.
Thanks for joining me today on Storytime with Miss Veronica. I can't wait to see you next time. Bye-bye.